He fired me over a cup of coffee. I gave 15 years of my life to Remington Ridge Capital. I missed school plays. I worked through holidays. I fixed their mistakes in the middle of the night. But all it took was one spill on a designer shirt for them to throw me away like trash. My name is Harper Lively. I am 38 years old. Until 10 minutes ago, I was the senior investment strategist. Now, I am just a woman standing in a cold marble lobby, holding a cardboard box. Inside the box, I had a picture of my daughter and my dead mother's pen. That was all I had left to show for a decade and a half of loyalty. I felt small. I felt broken. The security guard was waiting to escort me out the door. Then the elevator dinged. The doors slid open. Mason Caldwell stepped out. He was our anchor investor. He controlled $2 billion of our fund. He was the most important man in the building.
He saw me.
He smiled warmly.
"Harper," he said.
"Are you ready for our meeting?" I gripped my box tighter. My voice shook. "Alden fired me," I whispered. Mason stopped. His smile vanished. He looked at the security guard. Then he looked back at me. "Walk with me," he said. And just like that, everything changed. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below telling me, where in the world are you watching from? For 15 years, I was the invisible glue that held Remington Ridge Capital together. The office was a glass tower in the city. It looked perfect from the outside. It was shiny and tall, but inside it was a mess. I was the one who cleaned up the mess. I started there when I was 23. I was young. I was hungry. I wanted to prove myself. The CEO, Mr. Remington, hired me as a junior analyst. He told me, "Harper, if you work hard, this place will be your family." I believed him. I was stupid, but I believed him. For the first 10 years, I worked harder than anyone. I came in at 6 a.m. I left at 9 p.m. When the market crashed, I was the one who found the safe harbors for our clients' money. When the other analysts panicked, I stayed calm. I made the firm millions of dollars. Mr. Remington liked me. He trusted me. But he did not respect me. To him, I was a tool. I was a reliable car that never needed gas. Then his son joined the firm, Alden Remington. Alden was 30 years old, but he acted like a teenager. He drove a loud sports car. He wore suits that cost more than my car. He had a degree from a fancy school, but he didn't know how to read a balance sheet. He came in as a director.
He was my boss on paper.
From the first day, Alden hated me. He hated me because I knew more than him. He hated me because the clients called my phone, not his. He hated me because when he made a suggestion in a meeting, his father would look at me and ask, "Harper, what do you think?" I tried to be kind. I tried to help him. "Alden," I would say gently, "if we invest in that tech startup, we risk too much exposure. Let's look at the numbers again." He would glare at me. His eyes were cold. "I don't need a lecture, Harper. I know what I'm doing." He didn't know what he was doing. 3 years ago, Alden tried to push a deal with a real estate company in Florida. He said it was a gold mine. He told the board we would triple our money in 6 months. He was charming. He was loud. He made big promises. I stayed up all night looking at the documents. I found the truth at 3 a.m. The real estate company was a ghost. They didn't own the land. They were being sued by 3 different banks. If we had invested, Remington Ridge would have lost $50 million. The next morning, I went to Mr. Remington's office. Alden was there. He was laughing, pouring coffee. I put the file on the desk. My hands were shaking a little. I didn't want to embarrass Alden. I just wanted to save the firm. "We can't sign the deal," I said softly. "It's a fraud." The room went silent. Alden's face turned red. "You're lying," he snapped. "You're just jealous because I found the deal and you didn't." Mr. Remington looked at the papers. He read the report. He saw the lawsuits. He saw the fake land deeds. He closed the folder. "Harper is right," Mr. Remington said. He didn't look at his son. "Cancel the deal." Alden looked at me with pure venom. That was the moment I knew. He would never forgive me. I had saved his inheritance, but I had bruised his ego. And for a man like Alden, his ego was the only thing that mattered. After that day, the torture began. It wasn't loud. It was quiet. It was small cuts every single day. He stopped inviting me to the Monday morning strategy meeting. I would come to work and see everyone in the conference room. When I tried to enter, Alden would smile a fake smile. "Oh, Harper," he would say. "This is for senior leadership only. You can stay at your desk." He moved my office. I used to have a window view. One Monday, I came in, and my things were in a small room near the copier. It was loud. It smelled like toner. It was a closet, basically. "We needed your old office for storage," Alden told me. He didn't even look up from his phone.
He took my clients.
He would call the investors I had nurtured for a decade. He would take them to fancy dinners. He would tell them, "Harper is overwhelmed. She's getting older. She's tired. I'll handle your account now." I went to his father. I went to Mr. Remington.
"Sir," I said.
"Alden is pushing me out. I can't do my job." Mr. Remington sighed. He looked old. He looked tired. He knew his son was useless, but it was his son. "Harper, please," he said. "Be patient with him. He's learning. He needs to feel important. Just support him. Do it for me."
So I did.
I swallowed my pride. I did the work, and Alden took the credit. I worked on the weekends. I missed my daughter's soccer games. I missed her school play, where she was the lead sunflower. I sat in that dark office, fixing Alden's mistakes, while he was out on a boat somewhere. My daughter, Lily, is 10 years old. She used to ask me, "Mommy, why are you always sad?" "I'm not sad, baby," I would lie. "I'm just tired." "Why don't you quit?" she asked. I looked at her. I looked at our small apartment. I looked at the bills on the counter. "I can't," I said. "Mommy has to pay for school. Mommy has to pay for the car. I have to stay." I felt trapped. I was 38. I was a single mother. The job market was tough. I thought if I just kept my head down, if I just kept being perfect, eventually things would get better. I was wrong. Alden wasn't just mean. He was dangerous. He was reckless. In the last 6 months, I started seeing things that scared me. Numbers that didn't add up. Valuations that were too high. Risk reports that had been edited. I knew it was Alden. He was trying to pump up the numbers to show his father he was a genius. But it was all smoke. It was fake. I was terrified. If this came out, the firm would collapse. I started keeping a file. A physical file hidden in my desk. Every time I saw a fake number, I printed it. Every time Alden sent an email telling me to fix the optics, I printed it. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just knew I needed insurance. I walked around the office with a knot in my stomach. I felt like I was walking on a frozen lake, and the ice was cracking. I knew Alden was watching me.
He knew that I knew.
He was waiting. He was like a predator in the tall grass. He was waiting for me to make one mistake. Just one. He didn't care about my 15 years of service. He didn't care that I was a mother. He didn't care that I was the only reason the lights were still on. He wanted me gone. He wanted to erase the witness to his incompetence. I tried to be careful. I double-checked every email. I arrived 5 minutes early. I dressed perfectly. I didn't speak unless spoken to. But you cannot be perfect forever. We are humans. We make mistakes. And my mistake happened on a Tuesday morning with a cup of coffee.
It was a Tuesday.
It was raining. The kind of gray, heavy rain that makes the whole city feel tired. I was running late. My alarm didn't go off. Lily couldn't find her left shoe. The car wouldn't start for 3 tries. By the time I got to the office building, my heart was racing.
I was stressed.
I had a meeting at 9 a.m. with the analytics team. I needed caffeine. I stopped at the lobby cafe and bought a large black coffee. It was hot. The cup felt like it was burning my hand, but I didn't care. I needed the energy. I took the elevator up to the 40th floor. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was an email from Alden. Subject: "Where are you?" Body: "Meeting started 5 minutes ago." Unacceptable. I looked at my watch. It was 8:58 a.m. He was lying. The meeting hadn't started. He was just trying to panic me. It worked. I stepped out of the elevator. The office was quiet. The thick carpet absorbed the sound of my heels. I walked fast. I was looking at my phone, trying to type a reply. "I'm here. I'm just walking in now," I typed. I rounded the corner near the executive suites. It was a sharp corner, a blind spot. I was walking too fast. Suddenly, a figure stepped out from the doorway. We collided. It happened in slow motion. I felt my shoulder hit a hard chest. My hand jerked. The lid of the coffee cup popped off. The dark, hot liquid flew into the air. It splashed across a crisp, white shirt. It soaked into a gray silk tie. It splattered onto the expensive Italian shoes. I gasped. I froze. I looked up. It was Alden. Of course it was Alden. For a second there was total silence. The coffee dripped from his shirt onto the floor.
Drip, drip, drip.
The liquid was hot. I saw him wince. But then I saw his eyes. He wasn't in pain. He wasn't just angry. He was smiling. It was a tiny, cruel smile. It was the smile of a man who had just been given a gift. He had been waiting for a reason. He had been waiting for a mistake loud enough to mask his real agenda. And I had just given it to him. "You idiot," he screamed. His voice was like a gunshot in the quiet office. I am so sorry," I stammered. I reached into my bag for a tissue. "Alden, I didn't see you. Let me help." "Don't touch me," he yelled. He slapped my hand away. He stepped back. He made a show of looking at his shirt. "This is a $300 shirt," he shouted. "Do you have any idea how clumsy you are?" He wasn't shouting for me. He was shouting for the audience. He wanted people to hear. Heads popped up from the cubicles. Analysts stood up. The receptionist stopped typing. Everyone was looking. "It was an accident," I said. My voice was trembling. I felt my face burning with shame. "I'll pay for the cleaning. I'll buy you a new one." "I'm sorry." "Sorry isn't good enough," Alden roared. His face was red now. He was acting. It was a performance. "You're always a mess, Harper. You're late. You're disorganized. You're unprofessional." That wasn't true. I was never late. I was the most organized person there. But the truth didn't matter. Only the volume mattered. "Alden, please," I whispered. "Can we discuss this in your office?" "No," he said. "We're discussing it right here." He pointed a finger at my face. "I am sick of your incompetence. I am sick of cleaning up after you." The irony was so heavy it almost crushed me. He was sick of cleaning up after me? "You are a liability," he said. "You are dangerous to this firm." He took a deep breath. He looked around to make sure everyone was watching. "You're fired." The words hung in the air. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. I couldn't breathe.
"What?"
I whispered. "You heard me," he said. "You're done. Get out. Now." "You can't fire me," I said. I try to stand tall. "I report to your father. I have been here for 15 years. My father put me in charge of operations," Alden sneered. "I can fire anyone I want. And I want you gone. Security." He yelled for security. Like I was a criminal. Like I was a thief. 2 guards came running from the elevators. They looked confused. They knew me. I always said good morning to them. I gave them Christmas cards. "Escort her out," Alden ordered. "She is trespassing." "Mr. Remington," one guard said softly. "It's Ms. Lively." "I don't care who she is," Alden screamed. "Take her badge. Watch her pack. Get her out of my building." I looked at Alden one last time. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell everyone about the fake numbers and the ghost deals. I wanted to expose him right there. But I was in shock. My body felt numb. I couldn't fight. The humiliation was too heavy. "Fine," I said.
My voice was dead.
"I'm going." I walked to my desk. The walk felt like miles. Everyone was staring. Some people looked sad. Some looked away because they were scared. No one said a word. No one stood up to help me. They were afraid of Alden. They didn't want to be next. I reached my small, dark office. The security guard stood at the door. He looked down at his shoes. "I'm sorry, Ms. Lively," he mumbled. "It's not your fault, Sam," I said. I didn't have much to pack. 15 years of work, and it all fit in one medium-sized cardboard box. I took the framed photo of Lily from my desk. In the picture, she was smiling, missing a front tooth. I wiped a speck of dust from the glass. I took my notebook. I took the stress ball shaped like a globe. And then I reached into the back of my drawer. I pulled out a silver pen. It was tarnished. It wasn't expensive, but it was my mother's. She gave it to me the day I got this job. She died 2 years later. "Make us proud, Harper," she had said. I held the pen tight. I felt tears pricking my eyes. I refused to cry. Not here. Not in front of them. I put the pen in the box. I looked at the computer. I thought about the files, the proof of Alden's corruption. I couldn't take the computer, but I had my personal notebook, and I had my memory. I put on my coat. I picked up the box. It wasn't heavy physically, but it felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. "I'm ready," I said to Sam. We walked back through the office.
It was a funeral march.
Alden was gone. He had retreated to his office, probably to celebrate. He thought he had won. He thought he had cut out the cancer. I walked past the rows of desks. I saw the young analysts I had trained. They didn't look up. They were typing furiously, pretending I didn't exist. I pressed the button for the elevator. I stood there, hugging my box. I felt naked. I felt stripped of my identity. Who was I, if I wasn't the strategist at Remington Ridge? I was just a jobless single mom with a stained reputation. The elevator dinged. The doors opened. I expected it to be empty. I expected to ride down alone in the silence and then cry in my car. But it wasn't empty. A man was standing there. He was tall. He had silver hair and a suit that cost more than my annual salary. He had kind eyes, but a sharp jawline. It was Mason Caldwell, the biggest investor we had. The man whose money kept this entire company afloat. He stepped out. He saw the security guard. He saw the tears I was fighting back. He saw the cardboard box in my arms.
He stopped.
The lobby was silent.
"Harper," he said.
His voice was deep and confused. "What is going on?" I took a breath. My voice cracked. "Alden fired me," I said. Mason looked at me. Then he looked at the closed door of Alden's office. "Why?" he asked. "I spilled coffee," I said. A tear finally escaped and rolled down my cheek. I spilled coffee on his shirt. Mason stared at me. He didn't blink. He processed the information instantly. He was a billionaire because he was smart. He knew what a coffee spill meant. It meant nothing. It was an excuse. He looked at the security guard. "Leave us," Mason said. It wasn't a request. It was an order. Sam nodded and backed away. Mason turned back to me. "Put the box down, Harper," he said gently. "I have to leave," I said. "I'm trespassing." "You aren't going anywhere," Mason said. "Walk with me." "Walk with me," Mason said. I stood frozen. The marble floor felt cold beneath my feet, even through my shoes. My brain was stuck in a loop.
Fired, fired, fired.
"I can't," I whispered. I looked at the security guard, Sam. "They took my badge. I'm not allowed to be here." Mason turned to Sam. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't look angry. He just looked powerful. "Sam," Mason said, "Ms. Lively is with me. If anyone asks, tell them I requested her presence." Sam nodded quickly. "Yes, Mr. Caldwell." Sam backed away. He looked relieved.
He didn't want to drag me out. He liked me.
Mason reached out and gently took the cardboard box from my hands. "I can carry that," I said. "It's my mess." "It's not a mess," Mason said. "It's just things. Come on." He pressed the elevator button. The doors opened again. We stepped inside. Just the two of us. The ride down to the lobby was silent. I stared at the numbers changing on the screen. 40, 39, 38. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I felt lightheaded. "Breathe, Harper," Mason said softly. I took a shaky breath. "I don't understand. Why are you helping me? You have a meeting with the board. You have a meeting with Alden." Mason looked at me. His eyes were like steel, gray and sharp. "I didn't come here to see Alden," he said. "I came here to see you." I blinked. "Me? We'll talk," he said. "Not here. Not in this building." The elevator reached the ground floor. The doors opened. The lobby was busy. People were rushing to work. They were drinking coffee, checking phones, laughing. Life was normal for them. My life had just ended, but theirs was still going. Mason walked out, holding my box. I followed him. I felt like a child following a parent. We walked past the reception desk. The receptionist stared. She saw the billionaire investor carrying a cardboard box for the fired executive. Her mouth fell open slightly. Mason ignored her. We walked out the revolving doors and onto the street. The rain had stopped, but the pavement was wet. The city smelled like wet concrete and exhaust fumes. "My car is around the corner," Mason said. "But let's go there instead." He pointed to a small, quiet cafe across the street. It wasn't the fancy place where Alden took clients. It was a simple place. "I need a drink," I said, "but not coffee. I never want to see coffee again." Mason chuckled. It was a dry, low sound.
"Tea, then."
"Chamomile. You look like you're about to pass out." We entered the cafe. It was warm. It smelled like baked bread. We sat in a booth in the back corner, away from the windows. Mason put my box on the seat next to him. He went to the counter. I watched him. He moved with a kind of grace that rich men have. He didn't rush. He knew the world would wait for him. He came back with 2 cups of tea. He placed one in front of me.
Drink, he said.
I took a sip. It was hot and sweet. It calmed the shaking in my hands. Thank you, I said. Mason leaned back in his chair. He studied my face. He looked at my red eyes. He looked at the coffee stain on my own blouse, a few drops that had splashed back onto me during the accident. Tell me exactly what happened, he said. Start from the beginning. And don't give me the corporate version. Give me the truth. I looked down at my tea. I was rushing. I turned a corner. I ran into him. It was an accident, Mason.
I swear.
I would never hurt anyone on purpose. I know it was an accident, Mason said dismissively. I don't care about the shirt. I want to know why he fired you for it. He hates me, I said simply. Why? Because I do the work, I said. And he takes the credit. And today I embarrassed him. I made him look imperfect in front of a staff. That is the one sin Alden cannot forgive. Mason nodded slowly. His ego. Yes, I said. His ego is bigger than the building. And his father? Mason asked. Where's the CEO in all of this? Mr. Remington is tired. I
said.
I felt a pang of sadness for the old man. He just wants peace. He lets Alden do whatever he wants because he doesn't have the energy to fight him anymore. Mason took a sip of his tea.
He was quiet for a long time.
Harper, he said finally. How long have we known each other?
6 years, I said.
Since you made your first investment with a fund. And in those 6 years, he said, who has managed my portfolio? I have, I said. And who sends me the weekly updates? I do. And when the market tanked last year, he said, leaning forward, who called me at midnight to tell me to move my assets into bonds so I wouldn't lose a fortune? I did. I whispered. Exactly, Mason said. You. He put his cup down. I didn't invest $2 billion in Alden Remington, Mason said.
His voice was hard now.
I wouldn't trust that boy to walk my dog. I invested in the firm because of the strategy. Your strategy. I felt a lump in my throat.
I didn't know he saw me.
I thought I was invisible. He told me I was disposable, I said. He said I was a liability. He is a fool, Mason said. But he has done me a favor. A favor? I asked. How? He freed you, Mason said. And now we can talk about the truth. The cafe was quiet. The waitress wiped a table nearby, the clinking of dishes the only sound. Mason reached into his jacket pocket. He pulled out a folded piece of paper. He smoothed it out on the table between us.
It was a spreadsheet.
I recognized it immediately. It was one of the weekly reports Alden sent to the investors. Look at this, Mason said. He pointed to a column of numbers. This is the valuation for the green tech merger. Alden sent this to me on Friday. I looked. The number was $400 million. My stomach dropped. That's wrong, I said instantly. The green tech valuation is $250 million, max. We did the audit last month. I know, Mason said. I had my own team look at it. Alden inflated the value by 60%. He pointed to another number. And this? The cash reserves.
We are low on cash, I said.
We spent too much on the new office renovation. We are barely liquid. But this report says you have $50 million in cash, Mason said. That's a lie, I said. The word tasted bitter. That money doesn't exist. Mason sat back. He didn't look surprised. He looked grim. I suspected it, he said. For months. Things haven't felt right. Meetings were canceled. My questions were dodged. Every time I asked to see the raw data, Alden had an excuse. Server maintenance. Files are being updated. Confidentiality issues.
He looked at me.
He was hiding it from me, Mason said. And he was using you as a shield. As long as you were there, as long as your name was on the strategy, I felt safe. I thought, Harper is there. Harper wouldn't let this happen. I covered my face with my hands. Shame washed over me. I didn't know he was sending you fake reports, I said. I saw signs. I saw emails that didn't make sense. But I didn't see the final reports he sent out. He blocked me from the investor distribution list 3 months ago. I know, Mason said. I noticed. He leaned in closer. His voice dropped to a whisper. Harper, I need you to be honest with me. This is off the record. No lawyers, no bosses, just you and me. He looked deep into my eyes. How deep does the rock go? I looked at him.
I thought about my NDA.
I thought about the lawsuit Alden would file if I talked. I thought about my severance pay, which I probably wouldn't get anyway. Then I thought about the box. I thought about the picture of Lily. I thought about the 15 years of missed birthdays. I thought about Alden screaming at me in the lobby. Get out. You're done. Loyalty is a two-way street. They had burned the bridge. I didn't owe them silence anymore. I took a deep breath. I sat up straight. It's everywhere, I said. Mason didn't blink. Tell me. The green tech deal is just the tip of the iceberg, I said. My voice became stronger. The fear was fading, replaced by a cold clarity. The real estate portfolio is full of bad debt. The tech startup he bought last year? It has zero revenue. He's paying the salaries out of the client operational funds. Mason's jaw tightened. That's illegal. That's embezzlement. I know, I said. He moves money from one account to another to cover the holes. It's a shell game. He waits for new investors to come in, takes their money, and uses it to pay the returns for the old investors. A Ponzi scheme, Mason said flatly. A soft one, I corrected. He thinks he can fix it. He thinks if he just hits one home run deal, he can pay everyone back and no one will know. But he's gambling. And he's losing. I kept going. I told him everything. I told him about the fake risk assessments. I told him about the compliance officer who quit suddenly last month because she refused to sign off on the audit. I told him about the marketing expenses that were actually payments for Alden's private jets and parties. It poured out of me like water from a broken dam. 15 years of observation. 6 months of terror. I laid it all on the table. I kept a file, I said quietly, in my head and some of it on paper at home. I was scared, Mason. I was scared I would go to jail for his mistakes. Mason reached across the table and covered my hand with his. His hand was warm and rough. You are not going to jail, he said firmly. You are the whistleblower. You are the victim. He pulled his hand back and took out his phone. He looked at the screen. It's worse than I thought, he muttered. If I pull my money out, the firm collapses. Yes, I said. You are the anchor. If you leave, the other investors will panic. It will be a run on the bank. Remington Ridge will be bankrupt in 48 hours. Mason looked at me. And how do you feel about that? I looked out the window. I looked at the tall, glass tower across the street. My home for 15 years. My prison. I feel sad, I admitted. I built that place. I hired those people. I don't want the innocent people to lose their jobs. The receptionists, the junior analysts, they didn't do anything wrong. They are young, Mason said. They will find other jobs. But Alden? If he stays, he will ruin everyone. He will lose pension funds. He will lose people's life savings. He has to be stopped. He was right. I knew he was right. So, what will you do? I asked. Mason put his phone away. He stood up. He buttoned his jacket. The look on his face was terrifying. It was the look of a general going to war. I'm going to go to that meeting, he said. You're going back there? I asked, alarmed. I have an appointment, he said coldly. I'm going to walk into that boardroom. I'm going to sit down with Alden and his father. And I'm going to ask for my money back. All of it. Every cent, Mason said. $2 billion. Today. He looked down at me. His expression softened. But first, he said, I have a question for you. I stood up, hugging my purse. What? When this blows up, he said, and it will blow up by tomorrow morning, I need someone to help me manage the fallout. I need someone who knows where the bodies are buried. I need someone who knows how to invest honestly. He paused. I'm starting a new firm, Harper. A clean one. No family drama. No lies. Just returns. My heart skipped a beat. I want you to run it, he said. I stared at him. Me? But I was just fired. I'm nobody. You are the smartest person in that building, Mason said. And you are the only one with integrity. I don't want a CEO with a famous last name. I want a CEO who tells me the truth. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a business card. He wrote a number on the back. Go home, he said. Hug your daughter. Drink some wine. Turn off your phone, or better yet, get a new number because Alden is going to be calling you when the panic starts. Do not answer him. He handed me the card. Call me tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We have work to do. I took the card. My fingers were trembling again, but this time, It wasn't from fear. It was from shock. It was from hope. "Thank you, Mason," I whispered. "Don't thank me yet," he said with a grim smile. "Watch the news tonight. It's going to be a show." He turned and walked out of the cafe. He didn't look back. He walked straight toward the glass tower across the street, like a storm rolling in. I stood there for a moment, watching him. Then I picked up my cardboard box. It felt lighter. I walked out of the cafe and hailed a taxi. "Where to?" the driver asked. I gave him my address. I leaned back in the seat and closed my eyes. For the first time in 15 years, I didn't have to worry about the market opening. I didn't have to worry about Alden's mood. I was unemployed, but I was free. The taxi ride home was a blur. I watched the city pass by through the window, the coffee shops, the people walking dogs, the buses. It all looked the same, but the world had shifted under my feet. When I got to my apartment building, I paid the driver and carried my box upstairs. We live in a modest 3-bedroom apartment in Queens. It isn't fancy. The paint is peeling a little in the hallway, and the elevator smells like old cleaning supplies. But it is home. I unlocked the door. It was 11:30 a.m. The apartment was quiet. My mother was sitting in her favorite armchair by the window. She was watching a game show with the volume turned up too high. Her white hair was messy. She didn't look up when I came in. My mother has early onset dementia. Some days she knows me. Some days she thinks I am her sister. Today, she just looked at the TV. "Mom," I said softly. She blinked. She turned her head slowly. "Harper?" she asked. Her voice was thin. "You're home early. Is it a holiday?" I put the cardboard box on the dining table. It looked out of place next to the pile of unpaid bills and Lily's school books.
"No, Mom," I said.
"No holiday. I finished early today." I didn't want to tell her. I didn't want to confuse her. I went into the kitchen. My hands were shaking again. The adrenaline from the cafe was wearing off, and the reality was setting in. I was unemployed. Yes, Mason had offered me a job. He had given me a card. He had promised me a future. But was it real? I stood by the sink and gripped the counter. Doubt started to creep in. Mason was angry. People say things when they are angry. Maybe he would cool down. Maybe he would go back to the office, and Alden would apologize, and they would make a deal. Rich men always make deals with each other. They protect their own. Why would he choose me? I was just Harper. I bought my suits on sale. I drove a 10-year-old car. I wasn't a CEO. I looked at the business card in my hand. It was heavy, cream-colored stock. Mason Caldwell. Caldwell Holdings. "You lead because people trust you," he had said. I closed my eyes. I tried to believe him. At 3:30 p.m., the door opened. Lily came bursting in. She was wearing her school backpack, which looked too big for her. She was 10, but she was small for her age. "Mom," she yelled. She stopped when she saw me sitting at the table with a cup of tea. "Mom, why are you here?" She looked worried. "Are you sick?" I smiled. It felt real this time. "No, sweetie. I'm not sick." She looked at the cardboard box on the table. She saw the picture frame inside. She saw the stress ball. She was a smart kid. She knew what that box meant. We watch movies together. She knows the fired scene. Her face fell. She dropped her backpack. Did the bad man fire you?" she whispered. She called Alden the bad man because she heard me crying about him on the phone to my sister once. I opened my arms. Lily ran to me. I hugged her tight. I smelled her shampoo, strawberry and sunshine. This was my why. This was why I put up with the abuse for so long. "He did," I said into her hair. "He fired me." Lily pulled back. She looked angry. She had my eyes. "I hate him," she said. "We don't have any money now. We're going to be okay," I said. I smoothed her hair. "Actually, something good happened too." "What?" "A very nice man offered me a new job," I said. "A better job, where I can be the boss." Lily's eyes went wide. "You? The boss?" "Maybe," I said. "We have to wait and see until tomorrow." I cooked dinner that night. I made spaghetti. It was simple comfort food. We ate together, me, Lily, and my mom. My mom told a story about her childhood dog that she had told 100 times before. I listened to every word. I felt present. Usually during dinner, I was checking my email under the table. I was worrying about the Asian markets opening. Tonight, my phone was in the bedroom, turned off. It felt like a detox. It felt like silence. But under the silence, there was a hum of anxiety. I imagined what was happening in the city. I imagined Mason walking into the boardroom. I imagined the look on Alden's face when Mason said, "I want my money." I wondered if the building was burning down figuratively. I put Lily to bed at 9 p.m. "Mom," she said, pulling the covers up. "Are you scared?" "A little bit," I admitted. "Don't be," she said. "You're the smartest person I know. You can fix anything." I kissed her forehead. "Good night, Bug." I went to my room. I sat on the edge of the bed. I looked at my phone. It was black and silent. Mason had said, "Turn it off." But I was human. I was curious. I turned it on. Immediately it buzzed.
And buzzed. And buzzed.
37 missed calls. 14 voicemails. 50 emails. I looked at the screen. Missed call. Alden Remington, 12. Missed call. Remington office, 8. Missed call. HR director, 4. I didn't answer any of them. I opened my text messages. There was one from Alden, sent at 4:45 p.m. "Alden, pick up the phone. We need to talk.
Now."
Another one at 5:30 p.m. "Alden, you think you can sabotage me? I will destroy you, Harper. Call me." And then one from a number I didn't recognize, sent at 8 p.m. "Unknown. It's done. Get some sleep. 8 a.m. tomorrow." I stared at the screen. It's done. A shiver went down my spine. It wasn't fear. It was the feeling of justice. Cold, hard justice. I turned the phone off again. I lay down in the dark. I listened to the sirens outside. For 15 years, I had been the victim. I had been the doormat. I had let them walk on me because I was afraid of falling. But I had already fallen. And Mason had caught me. Tomorrow, the world would know the truth. I woke up at 6:30 a.m. I didn't need an alarm. My body was humming with nervous energy. It was Wednesday. Usually on Wednesdays, I would be in the office by now preparing the weekly risk reports. I would be stressed. I would be drinking my second coffee. Today, I was in my kitchen, wearing my pajamas. I made coffee. I drank it slowly. It tasted better than usual. I opened my laptop on the kitchen table. I didn't log into my work email. My access was probably cut anyway. I went to the financial news sites. Nothing yet. The headlines were normal. Market poised for opening gains. Oil prices stable. I checked my personal email. There it was. The timestamp was 7:02 a.m. It was an email from Alden. But it wasn't just to me. It was to the entire company. And he had BCC'd the entire client list. He was trying to get ahead of the story. He was trying to control the narrative before the market opened. Subject: Important update. Leadership changes, dear team and valued clients. I am writing to inform you that Harper Lively, senior strategist, has been terminated effectively immediately for cause. It has come to our attention that Ms. Lively was involved in gross negligence regarding portfolio management. We discovered irregularities in her reporting that put the firm at risk. We took swift action to protect your investments. Please rest assured that Remington Ridge is stronger than ever. We are conducting a full internal audit to fix her mistakes. Sincerely, Alden Remington, Director of Operations. I read it twice. My hands turned into fists. He was blaming me. He was pinning his fraud on me. He was saying I was the one with the irregularities. "You coward," I whispered. Panic flared in my chest. If people believed this, my career was over. I would never work in finance again. I would be blacklisted. Mason couldn't hire a woman accused of fraud.
My phone rang.
It wasn't Mason. It was Sarah, a junior analyst who used to sit near me. I picked up. "Harper," she whispered. She sounded terrified. "Did you see the email?" "I saw it," I said. "It's a lie," Sarah said. "We all know it's a lie. But everyone is freaking out. People are saying you stole money." "I didn't steal a dime, Sarah." "I know," she said. "But Alden is in the conference room screaming at legal. He's trying to—" Suddenly, her voice cut off. "Oh my God," she said. "What?" I asked. "Sarah, what is it?" "I just got another email," she said. It's from Mason Caldwell. Read it to me," I commanded. "He replied to everyone," Sarah said breathlessly. "He replied to the whole distribution list, even the press contacts." "Read it, Sarah." She took a breath. Her voice shook as she read. "Regarding the termination of Harper Lively and the status of Remington Ridge Capital, I am Mason Caldwell. As the lead investor of this fund, I am writing to correct the record. Harper Lively is not responsible for any irregularities. She is the whistleblower who exposed them. Effective immediately, I am withdrawing my entire capital commitment of $2.2 billion from Remington Ridge. This decision is due to documented evidence of fraud, embezzlement, and falsified valuations committed by Alden Remington. Attached are the correct financial statements compared to the falsified report sent by Alden Remington over the last 6 months. I have forwarded these documents to the SEC and the district attorney. Harper Lively is a professional of the highest integrity. Remington Ridge is a sinking ship. I suggest you all check your lifeboats. Mason Caldwell. Silence on the phone. Sarah? I asked. Holy. Sarah trailed off. Harper, he attached the files. The real ones. The ones you found. I let out a breath. I didn't know I was holding. What is happening there? I asked. It's chaos, Sarah said. Phones are ringing everywhere. Every line is lighting up. The traders are shouting. The TV screens. Harper, turn on the TV. I ran to the living room and turned on CNBC. The banner at the bottom of the screen was flashing red. Breaking news. Remington Ridge implosion. Anchor investor pulls $2 billion alleging fraud. SEC probe launched. The news anchor was speaking fast. Shockwaves in Wall Street this morning as Mason Caldwell, the billionaire industrialist, publicly accused Remington Ridge Capital of fraud. This comes just minutes after the firm announced the firing of their top strategist. It was happening. It was actually happening.
I have to go, Sarah said.
Security is locking down the server room. Good luck, Harper. She hung up. I sat on the sofa. My mom was still asleep. The apartment was quiet, but on the screen, my old world was burning. I watched for 2 hours. It was like watching a car crash in slow motion. By 9 a.m., the stock of the parent company had tanked 40%. By 10 a.m., rumors were flying that the board of directors had called an emergency meeting. Then, at 11 a.m., the cameras outside the office building caught the moment. The revolving doors spun. Security guards stepped out first, pushing back the paparazzi. Then Alden appeared. He wasn't wearing his jacket. His tie was loosened. His face was pale, stripped of all its arrogance. He looked like a frightened child. He was holding a box. A cardboard box. It was the same kind of box I had held yesterday. He walked fast, head down, trying to hide from the cameras. A reporter shoved a microphone in his face. Mr. Remington.
Did you falsify the
green tech valuation? Mr. Remington. Is it true you embezzled client funds for personal use? Alden. Do you have a comment on Ms. Lively? He didn't say a word. He pushed past them and got into a black car. But it wasn't a company car. It was a taxi. They had taken his car too. I watched him drive away. I felt a strange emotion. I thought I would feel happy. I thought I would feel triumphant. But mostly, I just felt relief. The monster was gone. The shadow that had hung over my life for 3 years had evaporated in the sunlight of the truth. My phone rang again. I looked at the screen. Mason Caldwell. I picked up. Hello. Did you see it? Mason asked. His voice was calm, steady. I saw it, I said. You saved me. No, Mason said. I just told the truth. You saved yourself when you kept those files.
He paused.
I could hear papers shuffling in the background. Now comes the hard part, he said. Building something new from the ashes. Are you ready? I looked at my messy living room. I looked at the picture of Lily on the wall. I felt a strength rising in me, a quiet, steady power. I'm ready, I said. Good, Mason said. Meet me at 1200 Broadway, 14th floor.
Noon.
Don't be late. I'm never late, I said. I know, he replied. He hung up. I stood up. I went in my closet. I picked out my best suit. It was a dark blue, the color of authority, the color of calm. I dressed slowly. I did my hair. I looked in the mirror. I didn't see the tired victim anymore. I didn't see the woman who apologized for existing. I saw Harper Lively.
CEO.
I kissed my mother on the cheek. I wrote a note for Lily. And then I walked out the door. I arrived at 1200 Broadway at 11:50 a.m. The building was different from Remington Ridge. It wasn't a cold, glass fortress. It was a renovated industrial building in the Flatiron district. It had brick walls and large windows. It felt solid. It felt real. As I waited for the elevator, my phone buzzed with a text from Sarah, my former colleague. Sarah, you won't believe this. Mr. Remington is out too. I stopped. I stared at the screen. Mr. Remington was the founder. It was his name on the door. I thought the board might let him stay as a figurehead, out of respect. Harper, fired. Sarah, retired. But we all know what that means. The board said he lost control of the firm. They said he enabled Alden. He's packing his office right now. I felt a pang of pity. Mr. Remington was a weak man, but he wasn't evil. He just loved his son too much. He loved his son more than he loved the truth. And that love had cost him his legacy. The elevator opened on the 14th floor. The space was wide and open. There were no cubicles. There were no closed doors. Sunlight flooded the room. Mason was standing by a long wooden table, looking at blueprints. He looked up when I walked in. Right on time, he said. I heard about Mr. Remington, I said. Mason nodded grimly. It had to happen. You can't cut out the rot if you leave the root. The financial district is already giving Alden a nickname, I said. I heard it on the radio in the taxi. Mason raised an eyebrow. Oh, the espresso fallout kid, I said. Mason laughed. It was a genuine laugh.
Fitting.
He thought he was untouchable. He thought a cup of coffee was the worst thing that could happen to him. He didn't realize the coffee was just the match that lit the fuse. Is the firm going to survive? I asked. Remington Ridge? Mason shook his head.
No.
The brand is toxic now. Clients are pulling out by the minute. The talent, the good analysts, the honest ones, they are already looking for lifeboats. He looked at me pointedly. Which brings me to us. He walked over to a desk near the window. It was the best spot in the room. It had a view of the Empire State Building. I bought this floor yesterday, Mason said. I am launching Caldwell and Lively Asset Management. I froze. Lively? I asked. My name? Your name, Mason said. I provide the capital. You provide the brains. We are partners, Harper. 50-50 on the strategy. You run the operations. I handle the board. I walked over to the desk. I ran my hand over the smooth wood. Why? I asked again. You could hire anyone. You could hire a rock star from Wall Street. I don't trust rock stars, Mason said. Rock stars have egos. Rock stars hide losses because they are afraid to look bad. You? He looked me in the eye. You aren't afraid of the truth. You stood in a cafe and told me I was going to lose money. You told me the ugly truth instead of a pretty lie. That is what I need. That is what the market needs. He handed me a folder. This is your contract. Read it. Take it to a lawyer if you want. But I think you'll find it fair. I opened the folder. I looked at the salary figure. It was triple what I made at Remington Ridge. I looked at the title. Executive Director and Co-founder. Mason, I said. My voice was thick with emotion. I don't know what to say. Say yes, he said. And then tell me who. We should hire. I need a team. I smiled. I thought of Sarah. I thought of the other analysts who had been silenced by Alden, the ones who did the work while he took the credit. I have a list, I said. I have a list of good people. Honest people. Good, Mason said. Call them. Tell them they have a job starting Monday. But tell them the rules. No lies. No hiding. And if they spill coffee, he smiled. We just buy more paper towels. That evening, I walked home. I didn't take a taxi. I wanted to walk. I wanted to feel the city air. I stopped at a flower shop. I bought a huge bouquet of sunflowers. They were Lily's favorite. When I got to the apartment, it was quiet. The TV was off. I walked in. Lily was doing homework at the table. My mother was sleeping in her chair. Lily looked up. She saw the flowers. She saw my face. Mom, she asked, you look different. I am different, I said. I put the flowers in a vase. I sat down next to her. Do you remember I told you about the new job? I asked. Yeah, she said. With a nice man? Yes, I said. Well, I got the job. And not just a job. I'm a partner, Lily. My name is going to be on the door. Lily's mouth dropped open. Like, Lively? On the building? On the glass doors, yes. I laughed. She jumped up and hugged me. That's so cool. Can I come see it? You can come whenever you want, I said. It's our place. My mother stirred in her chair. She opened her eyes. She looked at us hugging. What's all the noise? She grumbled. I went over to her. I knelt down so I was eye level with her.
Mom, I said.
I have good news. We're going to be okay. I got a big promotion. She looked at me. Her eyes were cloudy, but for a second, there was a spark of recognition. She reached out and touched my cheek. You look like your father, she whispered. He was a leader too. I felt a tear roll down my face. My father had been a good man, hardworking, honest. I hope so, Mom, I said. I hope so. You sound lighter, she said. Your voice. It's not heavy anymore. She was right. The weight was gone. The weight of walking on eggshells. The weight of fearing Alden's temper. The weight of hiding my talent. It was all gone. The next few weeks were a blur of activity. The news cycle moved on, as it always does. Alden was facing charges. The SEC was investigating him for fraud. He would probably go to jail, or at least be banned from finance forever. His reputation was ashes. But I didn't care about him anymore. I didn't check the news to see his face. I was too busy building. I hired Sarah. I hired Sam, the security guard from the old building, to run our front desk. I hired the compliance officer, who had quit. We built a firm based on the one thing Alden hated: transparency. We told our clients exactly where their money was. We told them the risks. We told them the bad news along with the good news. And they loved us for it. Money flowed in, not because we were flashy, not because we had the most expensive suits, but because we were trusted. One afternoon, about 6 months later, I was sitting in my new office. The sun was setting over the city, painting the sky in shades of purple and orange. Mason knocked on my door frame. Heading out, he asked. In a minute, I said. Just finishing the quarterly report. It looks good, he said. The numbers are solid. The numbers are real. I corrected him with a smile. That's all that matters, he said. He turned to leave, then stopped. You know, Harper, he said. I never thanked you properly. For what? For spilling that coffee, he said. I laughed. It was a full, happy sound. Best mistake I ever made, I said. He nodded and walked away. I looked down at my desk. Next to my computer, I had placed the items from my cardboard box. The picture of Lily, the stress ball, and my mother's silver pen. I picked up the pen. It felt cool and heavy in my hand. I used it to sign the cover page of the report. Harper Lively, managing partner. I capped the pen. I put on my coat. I turned off the lights. I walked out of the office, past the glass doors with my name on them. I took the elevator down. I walked out into the cool evening air. I was going home to my daughter. I was going to help her with her math homework. And tomorrow I would come back here and lead, not as a victim, not as a ghost, but as the woman I was always meant to be. If you are listening to this, and you feel like you are invisible, I want you to know something. I know what it's like to do all the work and get none of the credit. I know what it's like to be afraid of a boss who uses his power to make you feel small. I know what it's like to hold a cardboard box and feel like your life is over. But remember this, the truth always has a way of coming out. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes a risky moment of honesty. And sometimes it takes a spilled cup of coffee. Don't let them convince you that you are disposable. You are not a liability. You are the asset. If you have ever been underestimated, or if you are fighting to be heard right now, hit that subscribe button. Join this community. And please, leave a comment below. Tell me where you are listening from, and tell me one thing you are proud of accomplishing, even if no one else noticed. I want to read your stories, because your stories matter here.
See you next time.